Hey Mark, how are you, man?
Hey, John, good morning.
All
Doing good
right.
here. How about you?
I am good. I'm good. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. And today, really excited about today's topic. You and I have been talking about this a lot, especially with a lot that's going on in the market itself. Rent or buy. That's the question that I hear from a lot of the buyers out there right now. Hey, things are kind of crazy with mortgages and prices. Maybe it's the best that I look at renting right now versus buying. And it's a really interesting question and topic, really, to talk about. And you and I have had the conversations around the benefits of both. And I think that in the end, I think you definitely have an opinion that which I agree with. But love to hear your input on rent versus buy.
Absolutely. I think the market is giving us a couple of gimmies right here. And the gimmies are that values may be pulling back a little bit, and that makes a great entry point for a new buyer to enter the market. So he's going to get a little bit of value that he might not have had 3, 4, 5 months ago. Um, but he gets to ride that train of appreciation over time, right?
Right.
Appreciation happens over years. So there's a little glitch in the market right now where you get a little bit of value, you get something on sale, and then you make that purchase, and then you ride that next wave of appreciation upwards. So
Yeah, just to clarify, what you're talking about right now is the 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 sellers are having to reduce some of the pricing in their housing to make it more appealing to buyers, which that's kind of quote unquote the glitch where we're seeing housing prices come down for enticement, which we're saying the buyers should definitely take advantage of.
correct, correct. And so much so that in the instance of a buyer who wants a place and the instance of a seller who really would like to sell, sellers in certain of our loan programs, sellers can contribute to the buyer up to 6%
Uh-huh.
of the purchase price.
That's right.
Those are big numbers.
They
I
are.
recently did one for a guy, bought a house for 365,000, if my numbers are correct by memory. He ended up getting about $19,000 in seller paid closing costs. So that covered his down payment and his closing costs in total. So if you're a renter, you really got to be thinking about taking advantage of the market right now to purchase, because you've got a lot of things going your direction
Yeah.
as a renter. So
So I'm a renter. I'm hearing this big freaking deal, right? What does this really mean, dollar and cents, Mark? If I'm really looking at analytically at what does that mean, monetarily wise? Do we have anything we can kind of maybe kind of zone in on to kind of show some of our viewers, the what does it really mean, to rent versus buy, and why buying makes so much more sense even in today's market.
right. Funny you should ask. I have a document that that will help us understand what those numbers look like.
Awesome.
And if I can share the screen with you, I will do that, and we will locate that document. And here we go. Can you see that okay, John?
I can.
All right, so this is a customized document that we can produce for any type of buyer in any scenario. So we just start plugging in some numbers to understand the rent versus buy scenario. So in this particular case, you and I have been talking about a $250,000 home purchase versus renting that an apartment or another home.
Hmm.
So what we have over time, in this particular example, we built a 7-year plan. Well, because the average American holds their home for 7 years, um, that's sort of the magic number that we want to look at. You can
Yeah.
look at longer for appreciation and time comparison, but 7 years is kind of the magic number. So in rent year number one versus rent year number seven, you see the price change or the appreciation in the rental cost that the renter who owns your home or apartment is charging you. He's getting all that benefit.
Right.
So over 7 years, you're going to spend about $268,000 with that guy.
Yeah,
If
and
you
that's assuming you're assuming a rental increase of about 13% a year. Last year, I think it was over 17% a year over year rental increase. So the assumption is that rental prices will continue to climb, which we have seen, and they're accelerating, of course, with inflation and some of the stuff. So that's really scary when you look at rent climbing that fast.
Yeah, that is appreciation. That's probably, let's see, what did we say, about 6%, 6.5% for York? That's double, right? Your rent increases are double what your appreciation is. Who's making that money? That's your landlord.
Absolutely.
That's your landlord. So now we flip over to the other side. In this area, when we buy the home, what's your monthly principal and interest? And this is fairly comparative, as you see here in your total monthly expense of $2,236 versus renting at $2,158. So to make that number, you have property tax insurance and I'm sorry, not property tax insurance for a rental. That's your renter's insurance.
Right.
So you add those up and that's what you get. Over on this side, you have property taxes, maintenance and repairs, and then your principal and interest payment.
What's really interesting, though, is even at the interest rates today, your rental costs for a comparable house are literally, you're only saving $80 a month. Going to a rental because rent has climbed to that level.
Right.
And you're saving $80 to not own a home. So that's interesting.
Right. So over time, if you look at over that 7-year period, you're actually spending $78,000 more to rent than you are to own. You take this 268, 132 number less or minus the 189, 928 number.
Wow.
So your landlord is getting all of that appreciation while you're getting nothing. So now let's talk about what happens when you become the homeowner. This is your appreciation at 6.5% over that average 7 years. You make about 138,000 in appreciation. You pay down your mortgage by about 18,000. Your total net gain by buying the home is 210,000.
Wow.
So that's the power of owning real estate with a small down payment. And in this particular case, we used a 3% down payment. So 3% controls the purchase of a $250,000 asset. That asset at $250,000 is appreciating or compounding return at roughly 6.5% per year. There is no better investment that you can make. So you get the 2 for 1. It's the place you get to sleep every night, have a family with, but it's the place that's building equity for you. So there is no better personal wealth building instrument that exists.
I agree. And this definitely brings a new perspective to the discussion around renting and buying. People here right now, rates are making it cost prohibitive. The media is really hyping it up. It's forcing people out of the market. The reality is, to your point, the sellers now are moving in a different direction, meaning that they're breaking prices down, bringing them down a little bit, as well as contributing to closing costs. And when you look at whether you're going to throw your money away, basically giving it to the landlord, or to your point, getting a return on it when buying a house, it's clear that buying still is the best route versus renting at this point.
Yeah. You cannot, there's no way to beat the power of, well, you and I have talked about it before. USDA, if you get a USDA loan, that's 100% financing.
Huh.
If you get a bond program with down payment and closing cost assistance, you essentially pretty close can get 100% financing. What's your return on a zero investment or near zero investment over that 7 years, it's $210,000. It's unbeatable. Even if you're paying 7%, 7.5%, whatever the interest rate is, that value of that property is appreciating at such a rapid pace because it's compounding return that interest rates really become less and less important.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, because of the value that's the house is going on. So
Right.
excellent.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mark, we're gonna wrap this one up. I appreciate your input. And for our viewers, Mark, excellent person to reach out to contact around next steps around mortgages. As you can see, his contact information there at 615-934-9870. And then as far as your mortgage needs, he is definitely the person to contact to really walk through your situation. And on the real estate side, well, feel free definitely to reach out to myself, John McDonald. My number is 717-495-2443. Be happy to help and look for your dream home. Between Mark and I, we'll make that dream come true. So, guys, have a great rest of your day, and we will talk with you later. Thanks, Mark, again for your time.
Thank you, John. I always appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. Bye-bye.